Okay, so what we're basically doing is we're trying to comprehensively go from beginning to end through a microeconomics course. It is specifically microeconomics for business, an introductory course for semester. We are 8 videos in, and it's we're really learning as we go here. I just kind of feel like the videos were not of any substance, and we're just taking the wrong approach. So if we, this is an up-to-date 2023 college textbook, full textbook. What we're basically going to try and do is outline the textbook from beginning to end. Uh, so we're basically under the assumption we had gone through 8 videos, going through a lot of this, ending somewhere in chapter 2, not finishing with that. Yeah. In fact, in one video, we already briefly analyzed the table of contents, where this is the full table of contents. Just to kind of always move on to better concepts. I'm always trying to jam a lot into say a whole lot in a short period of time. But basically, one outlook here is that we're going to, be taking a microeconomics for business class. Another outlook is that we're simply going to be outlining a college textbook from beginning to end, which is what we will be doing in as many videos as it takes. But after we do that, we can say that we have taken a microeconomics with focus on business course. Um, so we'll just kind of move right through, in chronological order through the book, starting with the table of contents. So we are going to do a little bit of review. We'll try and fly through it. It's not on purpose. It's just we can kind of, scrap the 8 videos that I think preceded this. So this is video 9, but it's kind of like video 1. But we're not going to define the table of contents too much. It's not important. All the bullet points, 1.1, 1.2, 2.3, 3.3, all of those we'll get through. So as we already did, it's 13 chapters, an introduction, and then chapter 2 is the math review that we only made it about less than halfway through that. So then we finally get into the class. Chapter 3 is production choices. Uh, I did define some of these just mildly in one of the preceding videos to this, but we will define these obviously better once we get there. So chapter 4 is going to be consumption choices. Yeah, chapter 5 is going to be market equilibrium. Yeah, so we know what monopolies are. Everybody has a very basic idea of what monopolies are. Chapter 6 will be monopolies. Chapter 7, price discrimination. Chapter 8, uncertainty. So you can pause the video, if we take a look at the table of contents, just pause the video at any time. If I'm scrolling a little bit too fast, we see the sections within each chapter. It's just, we don't need to discuss those. We talk about those when we go. So price discrimination, chapter 8, uncertainty. So we like, I think we like 9 and 10 quite a bit. So we have 2 entire chapters on game theory, a very, it's obviously a very common, what do we call it? A very common subject matter, but there are many econ classes which simply are not econ classes without game theory. So we will spend a large portion of the class on that. But it is game theory part 1, chapter 9, static games. And then, of course, game theory, part 2, chapter 10, dynamic games. Okay, so then chapter 11, uh, asymmetric information. We could just kind of, pause the video to get a few brief moments here. Chapter 12 is going to be incentives and contracts. Chapter 13, externalities and public goods. This course is for somebody who does not have a background in microeconomics. No background is required. So we shouldn't really know what all these titles mean. But supposedly, if we go through chapter 1 through 13, we will have a fairly strong understanding of economics, microeconomics, that is, and how it relates to business. Okay, so hopefully it doesn't seem too unusual, but there are kind of 2 main focuses in this class. One focus is simply, kind of reading aloud from the book. So the second thing we try and do, some of it is just kind of the meaty, well, I wouldn't say the meaty, the other stuff, kind of the in-between stuff that we're, reading about. We're supposed to read the book outside the class. This entire class is the book. The second part is the places where we stop and do an example problem. So this will be as all videos. I can, of course, annotate the screen, so we'll be working out example problems and such like that. But to kind of present the ideas, what we're literally going to do is just go straight through the book. So that will be, about half of what the course is composed of. We're not going to read the entire book. We just want to, how do you outline some of the basic concepts of the book? We might underline a thing or two, but we're not really going to outline it all. We're just going to read straight through. So we've already gone through chapter 1 and a little bit of chapter 2. Again, we won't spend too much time. We certainly won't spend too much time, but we are going to begin at chapter 1 again. So we've already done 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, but this is just kind of a quick and much more thorough recap. Yes. So this is our goals. The objective of this book is to present the basic set of tools necessary to study microeconomics. The book is not intended to be a standard microeconomics book used by students majoring in economics. Our goal is to focus on topics and applications that are better suited for business students. Because of this, we are forced to leave out several topics that are traditionally covered in intermediate level microeconomic classes, such as the Slutsky, how do you pronounce that? The Slutsky equation. So I think it's okay to have a little bit of fun. This is purely educational. Um, it's just the book had mentioned the Slutsky equation right here. It is rather advanced. I do kind of know what it is. I understand partial derivatives and some advanced math and things like that. Uh, kind of applied mathematics. That's kind of my thing. So we'll talk about that in other videos. But this is kind of a more intermediate or advanced. We don't need this here. We're just talking about something that has nothing to do with the class, the Slutsky equation. But I just wanted to show that is one common depiction of it, I think. So, that's the Slutsky equation. We don't need it for this course, but let's go back to the course. By excluding these topics, these kind of intermediate topics, we can allocate substantially more time to study topics that have greater relevance for business students, such as incentives and contracts. This book was deliberately designed to be used in a flipped classroom setup. The book only covers the basic tools of microeconomics and provides a basic understanding of equilibrium features in markets in game theoretical models. The student should read the book as we are and as we're going to understand these basic features. Uh, then the book must be, this is just kind of a, kind of blah, 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 blah. We don't really need all this here. So 1.1 is the introduction, it kind of goes on and on from there. The book refrains from exhaustive analysis of the models it presents. So basically, that just kind of presents the fact that we have brief examples through the book. All this book really does is introduce, some of the examples, and we kind of learn the fundamentals of the concepts and then kind of move on, I guess. But so that's it for this video. The next video is going to be 1.2 economic models, which we already did thoroughly, but we're just going to recap on everything before we move on. So we've already done economic models. And then our next video is going to be 1.2 economic models, the recap.